The following content has been generated with artificial intelligence under minimal human supervision. The data presented may contain errors or inaccuracies. The opinions expressed in this content do not necessarily reflect the vision, position, or values of DigiAll. We recommend verifying critical information with additional sources before making decisions based on this content.
Welcome to DigiAll Tech News. Today is Saturday, June 6th, 2026. I'm Kylie Brooks, and this is where technology becomes clear and engaging. Anthropic is warning that frontier AI may be closer to improving itself without ongoing human control, and it wants the industry to build a real brake pedal. Enterprises are turning to model routing to cut AI costs, a shift that could pressure premium pricing at OpenAI and Anthropic. Meta is reportedly considering a stock offering worth tens of billions of dollars to fund its AI infrastructure ambitions. President Trump says he plans to meet major AI leaders to discuss the US government taking financial stakes in their companies. Google has signed a huge compute capacity deal with SpaceX, paying $920 million a month for access tied to XAI data centers. Let's start with Anthropic, because this is one of those AI safety stories where the wording really matters. The company behind Claude says frontier systems are approaching what it calls full recursive self-improvement, the ability to design, build, and iterate on their own successes, with minimal, or even no, ongoing human input. Marina Favreau of the Anthropic Institute and co-founder Jack Clark framed the warning as both opportunity and risk, faster scientific and medical breakthroughs on one side, and harder questions about control, security, and alignment on the other. Clark went on CNN with Anderson Cooper on June 5th and argued that the industry has an accelerator, but not enough of a brake pedal, meaning practical ways to slow, pause, validate, verify, and monitor the most powerful systems. Here's the bigger issue. A brake pedal only works if rivals agree it exists. Clark compared that kind of coordination to Cold War nuclear arms control, which is a serious analogy for an industry also racing toward bigger compute and public market funding. So the listener question is simple. Can companies moving this fast create shared safeguards before the systems they are building become too hard to trust? Now, this is where the AI business model gets less glamorous and more practical. Corporate customers have spent the last 2 years often defaulting to the most powerful models for everything, and many are now running past their AI budgets. Model routing is the response. Send the complex, high-value work to expensive frontier models, but route simpler or routine tasks to cheaper, faster alternatives. In practical terms, that means OpenAI and Anthropic may still win the hardest jobs, but they may not get paid premium prices for every single query. That matters because their valuations and IPO expectations depend on durable demand, not just technical prestige. The trade-off for enterprises is obvious. Lower costs and faster workflows are attractive, especially if open source or lower cost models can handle the easy work. But the strategic question for the labs is sharper. If the easy, high volume tasks migrate away, how much of the AI market remains premium? Meta's reported capital search is much thinner on detail, but the signal is still important. The company is weighing a stock offering to raise tens of billions of dollars for its AI ambitions, according to a Financial Times report cited by Reuters. The key word here is weighing. No size, timing, structure, or company confirmation has been announced. Still, the direction tells us something about the scale of the AI build-out. When one of the largest technology companies in the world is looking for new capital sources for infrastructure, AI stops being just a product race and becomes a financing race. The question for investors would be whether raising equity for AI capacity makes the long-term opportunity clearer, or whether it underlines how expensive the next phase has become. Here's a very different version of the AI money story. President Donald Trump says he wants to meet leaders of major US AI companies at the White House, likely next week, to discuss the government taking a financial stake in their future. Speaking on Air Force One, he described the idea as creating almost a partnership with the American public, and he tied it directly to public trust, saying Americans may like AI better if they can benefit from its success. Trump compared the concept to the US government's 10% stake in Intel last year, which he said has already made money. The companies were not named by the president, but the biggest US AI players highlighted around the discussion include Google, Microsoft, OpenAI, SpaceX, and Anthropic. Microsoft declined to comment, and the others did not respond to requests for comment. The political context is unusual too. Sam Altman met Senator Bernie Sanders in Washington this week, after Sanders floated a sovereign wealth fund that would take a 50% stake in AI companies. Trump did not dismiss that broader idea. The big question is not only whether the government invests, but what public benefit would actually mean: ownership, influence, returns, or simply a way to make a powerful technology feel less distant from everyday Americans. And finally, the compute story is getting enormous. SpaceX has signed a deal to provide Google with AI compute capacity at $920 million per month for 32 months. From October 2026 through June 2029, the capacity is expected to use about 110,000 NVIDIA GPUs, plus related CPUs, memory, and components in SpaceX and xAI data centers, tied mainly to the Memphis Colossus facilities. Google Cloud described it as bridge capacity for surging demand on Gemini Enterprise, its agent platform launched in October 2025. The deal also has a very practical delivery test. Capacity ramps through September 2026 at a reduced fee, and if committed GPUs are not delivered by September 30th, Google can terminate immediately or accept reduced capacity after a 1-month grace period. Why does this matter? Because it shows AI infrastructure becoming a market of its own, where even Google may rent massive outside capacity while building more of its own. SpaceX is also trying to monetize data center capacity built for Grok workloads after its February 2026 merger with Elon Musk's xAI. The company reported first quarter capital spending of $10.1 billion, with $7.7 billion committed to AI, while its AI segment posted an operating loss of $2.5 billion on $818 million in revenue. So yes, the monthly number is eye-catching, but the real story is execution. Can this new neo-cloud-style business reliably deliver the GPUs, keep them utilized, and turn huge infrastructure bets into durable revenue? Today's through line is that AI is no longer just a race for better models. It is a race over control, cost, capital, public trust, and compute delivery. The companies that win will need more than speed. They will need safeguards, sustainable economics, and proof that the infrastructure can keep up. Thank you for staying informed with Digital Tech News. We'll be back with more updates as they develop.